Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have a protection order hearing with a woman who makes some hard-to-believe claims about a man she knows that she says is one of a group of people who are tapping into or mirroring her phone and getting into her email to send her subliminal messages in scam emails. She claims he broke into her phone and changed his name in her contacts. She also claims that she's had to sell and replace 3 cars this year due to him and this group of other people tapping into the GPS in her car and using it as a way of tracking where she goes. The man says he has no idea what she's talking about and hasn't done any of the things she claims. He says he has no interest in having any contact with her and doesn't know who any of these other people are supposed to be. Let's see what the judge thinks of this.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. Ms. Harris, you're in court. Why don't you come on up here and have a seat at the table there? And then Mr. Benbow, JB, Mr. Benbow.
Good morning. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, can you start your video?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we got you both here. This is case number 24233. And let me put you both under oath. And Ms. Harris, raise your right hand with me. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Benbow, if you'd raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. First things first, there's a request from Ms. Harris that the court issue an order against Mr. Benbow, and you've been served as of July 15th. And Ms. Harris, you're prepared to go forward to present your side why you should get this order?
Yes.
Okay, and you're still wanting that order?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Benbow, are you prepared to respond to Ms. Harris's request?
Yes.
Okay. Let me, and both of you should know I'm looking at back and forth here because our file is electronic. And so I'm listening. I'm just also looking at what's been filed. And so let me get that open here. And let me get where I need to be. Okay, so Ms. Harris, you made several allegations against Mr. Benbow. It's not clear when things happened. When's the most recent? You said the most recent when your phone was tapped or mirrored?
Correct.
Okay. And then when he assaulted you, is that when?
A couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago.
Okay. What I was doing is ask for a description. So I gave a description all the way up to the latest.
Yep, that's exactly what I just need to kind of narrow in on what's recent and what's not. So, and in your exhibits, I've got a statement here from Jacob Walden, which was signed under penalty of perjury. And is he available today by any chance?
No, he's not available today.
All right.
He just did the statement.
Okay. All right. And maybe you can tell me then about why, kind of importantly, you're zeroing in on Mr. Benbow as to the person who's mirroring or tapping into your phone and seeing your location, attempting to email you. And you say you confronted him about a month ago, trying to make contact with someone else, and he shut the door and so maybe you can help me understand that most recent event and then we can work backwards.
Oh no, I didn't make contact with him with somebody else. It's him and another individual, and I found out there's more individuals involved. So it's a group of individuals.
Okay.
But Mr. Benbow was the one that made the statement of recording.
All right, because you said a month. I confronted him about a month ago.
Right.
Okay.
I came to his door and asked if he was trying to make contact with me.
Right. Okay. And so tell me about that event.
I pretty much showed up because he told me that if I ever wanted to talk to him, I could show up at his house. And so I did, because I got tired of weird things happening. Like, for example, he said he claimed he didn't have my number. And so he sent me through Cash App a comment of something about he had some type of treat for me. And I got that through my email, gogorbnana@gmail. That came in through there. I was going to print it out, but I figured it was irrelevant. But on my Cash App, he sent me a message through there, and I think it was a dollar. So you have to put in some type of money to be able to send a comment. And then I don't know if it's still there, but I was appalled that he would even come at me like that. I had not had contact with him for a long time before that even happened. Now I'm starting to get weird emails, subliminal emails. I think I even put it in the description of certain emails that I was getting where they're either a comment being made or it's some type of weird scam spoof where if you click on it, I guess my information goes to whomever it is that's on that email. Things have been just crazy since then. I'm even having issues at my job now. And it's specifically me. It's not happening to no other employee. We've had to have that escalated to try to track who's doing it. And then I ironically spoke to an attorney. The attorney told me I had to escalate it and to file some type of, what is it called? Scam or fraud, because it's happening to my phone, it's happening to my computer, and it's going overboard. I don't see the point of doing this other than, is this to make contact with me to see where I'm going, who I'm talking to? There's things that I didn't know in the past. I don't know if those things are still going on, but I figured it's none of my business. It has nothing to do with me. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't care what each individual does and what they're a part of.
So how long have you known Mr. Benbow?
At that time, I think it was only a few months.
Okay, so when you filed this, you mean?
When I filed this, is actually, time has lapsed. It's been a couple of years now.
Okay. And so when did you stop having any kind of contact with him or desiring not to have contact with him?
Sexual assault, when that happened.
And that was
a couple of years ago.
Okay, so soon after you got to know Mr. Benbow, then you said, I don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
Okay, and then, so that would have been 2022.
Correct.
Sometime. You filed this in, just trying to generally, it doesn't have to, filed this in July, so sometime summer of 2022. And
yeah, he popped up. It was the weirdest thing. He popped up on the side of the highway. He rolled his window down. He had his cell phone out.
When was this?
This was not too long after, let me see. Probably, I want to say maybe a year after that happened.
Okay, so
it's weird. He pops up.
2023.
He just pops up and does stuff. I'm not sure why, what the point of that was. I had to call my neighbor. He's the one that I was going to have as a witness, but he's still gone. He's on vacation. And I ended up placing a 911 call, but my phone number has changed since then. I was going to change it again, but I'm realizing it seems like no matter what I do, whoever it is going to figure out my phone number's changed where I'm at. So I figured that it was suggested to file harassment. So I've been waiting for the detective to call. It's been hard to get phone calls because it seems like when I think I'm talking to a specific person, I'm talking to the scammer because there's new AI technology. People are disguising their voices.
So you're working with law enforcement right now to gather
I was
information?
attempting to, but it seems like there's interference with that.
All right. So the issue, all right, so about a year passes and then you say Mr. Benbow pops up on the freeway doing what?
He pulls over. My RV is literally, at that time you used to see it right off the highway. So you just pull off on the exit of Nisqually and my RV is right there on the corner. For some reason or another, he pulled off, rolls his window down, sticks his phone up. I don't know if he's recording or if he's actually taking a photo, but he sees me. I wave my hand for my neighbor. My neighbor stops and he sees him recording. He suggests I call 911, so I call 911. Right before they could actually dispatch the police, he pulls off.
All right, so then since that event, we're here about a year later, what's been going on?
It's been constant just harassment of the emails. Somebody's been going through my emails. Why, I'm not sure. Phone calls, my phone's being tapped. I've traded in my vehicle 3 times this year. I've had 3 different vehicles because they tap into the GPS part just to see where I'm at. It's the
And-
same thing with my cell phone. My phone's been mirrored where if I try to enter something in, I could see on the background, somebody's like trying to tap in and figure out what I'm doing.
All right. And that's, you say it's been continuous, you mean like just since for the last year or just?
I
since-
have a feeling it's been ongoing and I'm just realizing it's within the last year, things have escalated.
Okay. And all right. And then how do you attribute this to Mr. Benbow?
Specific things that he's been spoken of in the past of recording.
So the,
That's
So
his
what he
biggest
said in
thing
the
is
past.
recording.
and so in the past.
He's messed with my phone. I had him saved as I believe Chaos. I think I saved him as Chaos. And unbeknownst to me, when my back was turned, he turned around and he saved it as, I guess, Mr. Good Dick or something like that. So he has access and he's shown that he's had access. It's a matter of how much access does he have.
Okay. So changing, I think you wrote about that. Let me get to that. So I see if I have some questions here.
Why you would go through somebody's phone without permission, I have no idea. But he
And that
felt
was back in 2022.
correct.
Okay. But that's what makes you think, is there anything else that makes you think it's Mr. Benbow?
How he had popped up
How he had popped up in, off the
in the
freeway?
past, correct.
Okay, popped up in
He
person.
physically popped up in his vehicle. He has well, I don't know about now, but I know he had a Hyundai at that time, a 4-door Hyundai.
Was there other times that he popped up?
If he did, it was unbeknownst to me. I wasn't
Okay.
aware.
Yeah, but all right. Okay, so his I'm a little confused. So changing his contact information or something else from Chaos to something else?
He's good at disguising his name. I've talked to him about his name in the past. When I originally met him, he said his name was Jay. And he made a comment of where there's a lot of Jays out there. But the reason why I found out his real name was because he invited me to his house and I saw a piece of mail of his. It was sitting on a table and it said Jerron Bimbo. And there's certain information he wouldn't volunteer, but I just ended up finding out in certain ways. So that's how I found out his full name. He never volunteered it. He just said that his name is Jay and that there's a lot of Jays out there. So I'm assuming he goes by JB and other names in case something happens. It's hard to find him,
Okay.
hard to identify him.
So then in your petition, attempt with emails as well, different ones,
Correct.
generated like Karate Kid at iCloud.com. I can't even, Rohangjira at yahoo.com.
Part of his name, Jerron.
And okay, I see it's in there. So you're concerned that in 22 that he had changed his contact information in your phone? Is that what it was?
That
Or-
I know for a fact that's what he did.
Okay, that's what that was. All right. That makes more sense to me now. All right. And then this information about, I'm a little confused. So about a month ago, after in June, trying to make contact with a woman, Brandy, who
Yeah, I
may
confronted
go-
him and asked him who Brandy was.
you,
Because
Mr.
it was an ironic thing that I had stayed at a hotel and I was wall to wall, I was room to room next to her. He was messing with her, but he was messing with me. And she confronted me about an incident that had happened. And unbeknownst to me, she's connected to him.
Okay.
He was messing with her and he was messing with me at the same time.
All right.
And she confronted me.
All right. So all right. So then,
I guess she goes by a possible different name too, but I knew her as Brandy because it popped up as Brandy in my phone when we had contact.
okay. That's my
She
next
has
question.
a married name or a maiden name or a hyphenated name.
Let's try and see if I have any more questions, I'm just gonna, before I turn to Mr. Benbow and just re-reviewing everything you filed here. Right. Anything else before I turn to Mr. Benbow?
Not that I can think of right now.
Okay, and I'll be kind of looking over the top of your head, so don't be
Okay.
surprised.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Benbow, what's your response to this request for a restraining order or protection order?
I am just learning of all this information, as a result of hearing it here in the hearing. I didn't know any of this stuff before. So I don't agree. I mean, I'm not involved with any of those things. I don't pull over on freeways and record anybody, nothing like that. I haven't been in contact with Miss Harris for years. Like she mentioned, she showed up at my house maybe about 2 months ago. I've never mentioned to her that she could just show up at my house if she wants to anytime and don't have to call or something. Never said that. I've had the same phone number now for over maybe close to 20 years, so anyone can call me. It's nothing if they want to get a hold of me. When she did show up here at my house, which was totally strange, caught me off guard because that's not something we do or that I was okay with her doing. She rang the doorbell about 20 times, which I thought it was some emergency going. I thought maybe it was a neighbor in need of choking or something, distressed or something, because it was that crazy. I never heard my doorbell operate like that before. So I hurry up and I go to the front and I peeked through the glass just because I just wanted to see what was going on before I opened it up. And I saw it was her. And I thought, okay, well, let me open the door and see what this is about. I opened the door and she just starts going off about things that I never heard of before in my life. And at first I thought maybe she was kidding. I thought maybe she was joking around, trying to be funny or something. And then, when I was like, no, I was like, hello, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a long time. Hello. And then she's like she said, do you know Brandy or something like that? And I said, I don't know her. I don't know who you're talking about or nothing like that. She started talking about some other stuff, and my son was home at the time, and so and she was getting loud and whatnot. And so I told her, I said, if you're gonna be getting loud, you're gonna have to, you're gonna leave. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna call the police or something, but you can't be here being loud on my porch. And so that went on, I don't know, about 2 minutes or so. That was the last contact within the last maybe say 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years easy, that we've had any contact at all was when she showed up at my door about 2 months ago, being kind of very distraught. Like maybe she was having, some sort of crisis episode is what I end up thinking what was going on. And so I'm okay continuing to have no contact with her. I don't have any other emails or whatever, contacting her via email or phone or nothing like that. I don't do any of that. I'm not, so.
Right. So you were given notice of all this information by Pierce County Sheriff when they served you July 15th. That's the affidavit I had, that you were given the petition notice of this hearing, and that's declaration of James Walden. That's the Pierce County Sheriff affidavit, said that you were handed that July 15th. When you said this is the first you heard about it, I'm a little puzzled.
That's what I mean. I mean, as a result of being served this document a couple weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was my first hearing about it. And then, of course, attending the hearing and hearing, the details from by being present in the hearing.
Okay. All right, good. Right. If I have any questions for you, just give me a moment.
Never assaulted her, nothing like that. Just want to get that for the ring. Never done nothing like that.
So any comment on this declaration from a Jacob Walden that you received?
So I mean, I don't know him. And I can also say I'm no technical guru to be able to hack in people's phones or track them via email or GPS or any of that stuff. I know nothing of that. Barely can operate. I mean, I don't know anything of that. I don't. And so, I feel if that stuff is happening to her, I wish her the best that stuff gets resolved and she figure out, and hopefully none of that, continues to happen to her. Cause I wouldn't want that happening to nobody. I have nothing to do with that. Zero, not one iota of anything at all. I know nothing about it. I don't know how to do it. I don't even talk to her, it, nothing to do with me whatsoever. Zero.
All right.
I object to that, Your Honor. Him and I had a conversation
Slow
about
down.
recording.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I'll come back to you, but I just want to finish with Mr. Benbow.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Benbow? I'm just gonna jump back to Ms. Harris real quick, see if there's any clarification.
No, that's it.
Okay, all right. So Ms. Harris, anything on what Mr. Benbow said?
I don't agree with his comment about he doesn't know anything about recording and how to do it. When I was helping him with his Airbnb, he invited me out to help him with his Airbnb. And he made a comment that there should be a recording of how I talk, is what he said. He said, because I can say something and forget what I say. And so I said, you know what? I said, if that's how you feel, I said, you have my permission to record. It was just that one time he could record me. And he ended up recording me, Your Honor, and he played back something specifically to me. And so I said, okay. I said, if that's how you feel and that's what you're going to do, then I'm going to record too. And I had Marco Polo at the time and was recording something specifically that he said that he would forget about. And when I played it back, I think he was shocked that I actually recorded him and placed back something specific. I don't have Marco Polo now, but I did at that time. And he was shocked that I recorded him and played back something specifically that he said.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm not issuing this order, and this is the reason why. I have to be able to find by a legal standard, which isn't met here, that Mr. Benbow is behind the things that are happening to you electronically. And I can't find by that legal standard that that's happening, that he is the person doing these things. And therefore I can't find that he's the one who's knowingly and willfully conducting a course of conduct to harass you. And so I can't issue the order under the law. So Mr. Benbow, you've heard it. Ms. Harris, you heard Mr. Benbow too. He said he's not going to contact you, but I think you've heard no contact is wanted, and I don't know what to tell you, Ms. Harris. If there's further things going on, it's probably going to require some sort of investigation by the folks at your work that know what they're doing.
They're already on it.
Okay. And then, I can't really tell you, but it would have to be someone, unfortunately, I appreciate that there was this statement by Mr. Walden, but I can't put really anything, take it, because I don't have him here to adjudge his credibility, to adjudge, more importantly, his expertise in the area, such that he knows what he's talking about.
I understand.
So that doesn't get us anywhere. So Mr. Benbow, then there's no order issued, but obviously you both have said you don't want anything to do with each other. So leave it there. So that's all for today, Ms. Harris, Mr. Benbow. Any questions, Mr. Benbow?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Harris, anything?
No, like I said before, in the very beginning, when we first had this conversation, I'm just putting it in here. So when something comes up in the future, it's already noted in the system under my name, under his name, and the other individual's name.
Yeah. All right.
But it's already been escalated. So
okay.
Thank you.
All right. You can be on your way, and you can leave the meeting, Mr. Benbow.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'll just fill out the people later so we can keep moving.
Wow. This would be crazy.